If you want to be on the edge of what's currently happening in Russia, want to know current mood of the transformation Russia is going through, you just cannot disregard Z community. They provide valuable and once in a while extremely valuable information on where Russia is going. And today I am offering you to take a peek inside the heads of Z people, specifically the Vayenkory. Let's get onto this interesting journey. Howdy, howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. Welcome to Inside Russia, where usual Russia is explained by the unusual Russian. As usual, you will not find any BS, propaganda, or lies here. Instead, you will just see a lot of common sense, logic, and truth. And of course, you will see lots of emotions, because I'm a human being after all. With emotions. Well, I want to do something different today, something I haven't done before on this channel. I want to give you an opportunity to actually get into the heads of Russia's, I would say, most fearless people, the Z community, fearless in terms of what they can, what people can and cannot say. Z Vayenkory. Let me just prepare something for you. You're gonna like it. Well, Vayenkory. These people, they have very different outlook. They are what's in Russia it's called Z community, Z people, okay? Before I start, I want to answer right away who these people are and why they're so important. Z reporters Vayenkory Vayenkory is an abbreviated name for военные корреспонденты, or the war reporters. They are a part of propaganda machine. They are a part of state, and they operate in the front lines. They have a very different outlook, very unique angle on what is happening in Russia. Well, actually, I want you to be the judge of that. Will you find their angle different or not? If this experiment proves to be successful, and how successful it's going to be, we'll find out in the comments to this live stream. I would like to ask you to share your opinion after you're done, whether you like this material or you don't, and I'm going to be giving you a lot of sources, source materials from Vayenkory. So let me know. I will read, and then we'll consider if people like it, we'll consider making it a systematic occurrence here at Inside Russia. So, Vayenkory, военные корреспонденты, war correspondents, journalists, they are the people who are sent to the front lines to cover events directly from the battlefield. Their job is to collect information, film different reports, videos, interview participants in the conflict, and publish materials about what's happening currently in the war, basically. Main features of Vayenkory the war correspondents include: number one, they work in the conflict zone, right there when things are happening. They're often on the front line or near combat operations. This makes their work fairly dangerous, but it allows them to have this look of the war inside. Number two, they form public opinion. Their reports can have a strong impact on the perception of the war by Russian society and, perhaps by people outside. Because Russian propaganda takes reporting of Vainkory and molds it into any form it wants. Number three, they can be both independent and state-owned. Most of them are state-owned in one way or another, and at the very end of this live stream, I'll tell you why I think so. Military personnel work around them. Well, they work both within the framework of media, in other words, go along with the message of propaganda, or sometimes they act as independent bloggers or authors of Telegram channels. And then Telegram channels is a big part of Vainkory. That's where we get information from them. That's how they communicate with the world. In Russia, Telegram is a messenger number one. And number four, Vainkory participate in the information war. In the context of modern cyber warfare, military personnel can be not only journalists, reporters, but also active participants in propaganda. And that's most of them, that's what they are, the active participants in the propaganda. Knowing what Vainkory report on any single day, I find it important. It is like understanding the mood that lingers in the front lines, So, okay, enough talking. I hope by now you understand that Vainkory is a very unique source of information. It is state-influenced, propaganda-influenced, narrative over propaganda, but they sometimes add their own spices, that's what I say. And sometimes they tell the truth. And again, after I'm done with showing you the material from Vainkory, I'll tell you why I think some of that truth, some of that materials are actually truth. But without further ado, let's jump right into what I want to show you. Basically, these are excerpts from Vainkory Telegram channels. That's their work, that's their reporting, in their own words, okay? This is where I'm going to be citing what they write. I've decided to break down this live stream into two parts. The first part, remember about 12 days ago there was a huge attack of Ukrainians onto Russian strategic aviation, nuclear warhead bombers, carriers, nuclear bombers, carriers of nuclear missiles. So anyway, that was a very bold, genius attack, and it destroyed a big part of one of components of Russia's nuclear triad. Russian propaganda didn't say much about it. Russian Ministry of Defense admitted there was an attack, that's it. Russian officials kept silence. Putin was hiding for 3 days. Now, the only voices were heard, Vainkory. And the next few pieces of material I'm going to give you from Vainkory. Vainkory Telegram channel Starszy Eddy, older than Edda. I'm reading various texts right now saying that the British staged the operation against our strategic aviation, which the Ukrainians can't do because of their stupidity. I'll just say that such an opinion is kind of a shame. That is, if the British were able to arrange this for us with the hands of stupid, in parentheses, Ukrainians, then what can we expect in a direct clash with Britain? Ukrainians are not stupid at all, and they have been fighting with us for 3.5 years, turning out subtle, clever, daring operations, and our tragedy today will be included in the textbooks of the special services, including our special services. Of course, the British intelligence is directly involved in the war, but do not once again cover up your own shortcomings with words about the British. We are doing just worse for ourselves. As one wise man said, if you crap yourself in public, you should apologize, wash your butt and change your clothes. And do not walk in public place with pants full of crap, pretending that nothing happened. Военкор старше Эды. Older than Эда. Moving to военкор, повернутая на войне. Crazy about war. I hope that some officials will be given neckties instead of medals, like those tires on the wings of our airplanes. We mean that the drones flew without interference of the GPS, as can be seen from their posted videos, from the videos of Ukrainians. Apparently, someone was greatly hampered by the Field 21 or similar jamming systems. Then they turned them on when it was already too late. Anyway, cheer up, don't get discouraged. It won't affect the situation on Earth in any way. Here you have a message from our Airborne Attack Battalion. We have attacked, we've fudged them up. Ukrainians questionnaire again. The Ukrainians ran, and now we are quickly starting the second group to take up positions without a fight. We seem to be winning. Everything is great. We win every day. And I opened Telegram and saw the chat, and I wanted to put a gun to my temple. So again, this was военкор, повернутая на войне, crazy about the war. Number 3, военкор Роман Алехин. Very simple message. I like it. This is Russian Pearl Harbor. We hope that the response will be the same as that of the United States to the attack on their Pearl Harbor, or even tougher. Signing off. Well, this message shows you how, first of all, it does resemble Russia, Pearl Harbor attack, but that shows you what a nice военкоры, what a nice people they are, They hope the attack is going to be even worse than the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And we have военкор Роман Алехин again. The next message. Look at how the Chinese perceived yesterday's sabotage carried out by the Ukrainian armed forces. The Chinese lose support when they see the weakness of an ally. This is described very well in the Three Kingdoms, as I have said many times already. In general, their rule is fight with your neighbors, be friend with your neighbors. And as soon as they show the weakness, there's a high chance that they will attack us. Well, or they will achieve whatever they want. And this applies not only to the Chinese. The whole world is watching us. Because the whole world appreciates our chance to become the third pole. And they will see this not only as the victory of Ukraine, but they assess how invincible we are becoming within the country, within ourselves. Everything is according to their Sun Tzu, meaning the art of war. But as long as they see there is no serious moves to strengthen, billionaires also earn billions from the people and the country. Liberals continue to crawl everywhere, and when they are removed from their commanders, even for mistakes visible to us, they accuse conscripts of yesterday's sabotage and suggest they shoot them rather than fix the situation. A little explanation. That was what some people were proposing, to actually shoot those who allowed the attack right on the spot, those soldiers. This is exactly what the Chinese and the rest of our allies see, but who are wondering, and will Russia be able to protect us if it cannot protect itself when it needs to? Otherwise, what are unions for? So we don't just need to become invincible, both in reality and in the eyes of the whole world. But first, in reality. What a text. Number 5. And it comes from Vayencourt Alex Parker Returns. Yeah, the name is in English, by the way. I'm afraid to ask, but does the wise politician, well, we all know who he means, even understand that right now Russia is losing strategic parity with the United States in the field of nuclear strategic weapons? And unique aircraft are burning, which literally have no analogs and have long been discontinued. Does he even understand that? Well, I have a question for Alex Parker Returns. No, he does not. He certainly does not understand that. And I don't think he cares much, So please forgive me, Vlad, for answering on your behalf. So this is another comment by Vayencourt Zergullio. I do not know how to comment on this attack. Drones made out of shit and sticks carry out and annihilate one of the 3 elements of our nuclear triad. Judging by the video that Ukrainians provided, they are no hangars, no electronic warfare, and no air defense. Well, it's really hard to disagree with Vayencourt Zergullio. There is not much, nothing. But one thing that there was plenty, the tires, all over bomber planes, the tires, that's plenty. Now moving to Vayencourt, Записки ветерана, the notes of the veteran. And now, for the fact and events of the last night and the ongoing attacks today. The enemy, lacking long-range weapons, destroy strategic military installations in Russia. Today we saw a complex special operation by the Ukrainian Special Services under supervision of NATO Special Services, primarily Britain and the United States, to damage strategic military infrastructure facilities in Russia. As a result of well-planned actions, the enemy has already reached Murmansk and Irkutsk, which was never the case, even the Great Patriotic War, World War II. This indicates that the enemy has demonstrated its intentions and capabilities to continue the war. The second and the most important thing is that the enemy demonstrates the ability to use non-standard solutions in warfare. A truck full of drones had to be equipped, delivered to the mission area, and technically complex manipulations had to be performed to turn on, remotely launch, and control the drones. Yes, you heard right. The drones operators controlled the drones remotely from the territory of Ukraine. Technically, this is now possible. What our small-minded braggarts have recently shown, demonstrating drone control in Donbass from Moscow City, the enemy has adopted and turned this experience into a practical playing. Conclusion. There will be no troops withdrawal from Ukraine. Everything was already said 3 years ago. Until we start fighting like adults and stop hoping for some kind of self-resolution plans, there will be no result. The enemy is treacherous, cunning, and fully and still strong. And most importantly, the enemy must always be finished off in his lair. Otherwise, the fight will heal and come to avenge. Well, friends, this pretty strong text from Военкор Записки ветерана, and you see that most of the texts, they are full of outrage, anger, and a lot of them just tell the truth. Okay, so these texts were made after the Ukrainians executed the attack on Russian bombers. And they were made within a few days. Some made their notes, messages right after the attacks, and some, took a while for others to write. But it's really hard to disagree on most of them. The last message was pretty strong, and it kind of gives the true meaning of the negotiations that took place in Istanbul, 2 rounds. There will be no withdrawal. There will be war until full victory. I don't think Russia will achieve full victory, but that's what they are hoping for. That's what we're aiming at. So, this, what I just showed you, I hope you found it interesting, about the attacks. But then the Voenkory not only comment the attacks, they talk about all kinds of things war-related. About supplying Russian troops with, with everything. Food, clothing, ammo, armor. They criticize mostly because, there's chaos happening in the Russian army. They film a lot. They show in their Telegram channels. They film interviews. They film from the front lines. They film some stuff that I don't dare to give in my Telegram channel or here on YouTube. That's just, some things are better not to be seen. So, but it's really hard to disagree with Voenkory on most of things that they talked about the attacks. Now I would like to give you some more information about more general stuff from Voenkory, so you understand the mood, what they have to say. Before I jump there, I would like to take a sip of this wonderful English breakfast tea. And friends, I'm not sponsored by a tea company. I always drink English breakfast. It's my favorite tea. I wish they sponsored me, but hey, I like it. It's good stuff. And also, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for watching. Everyone who's watching right now, thank you for being a part of Inside Russia community, because this is more than just a channel, YouTube channel. This is a community. I invite everyone to exchange opinions, to ask me questions, and I try to answer as many as I can. And I do that 3 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And I'm going to do that today, just in a few minutes, after I turn the live stream I'm done with the message, then I turn the live stream chat on. And thank you very much for coming, for interacting, for being an active member of community. Thank you for your messages. Thank you for praying along with me, for your love. Thank you for buying me coffees at buymeacoffee.com. Thank you for Patreon, PayPal. I give you a promise that monetized or demonetized, I've been demonetized by Google for my stand against unfairness, I guess, against Russian government, against totalitarianism. So I've been demonetized for about 10 months now, but it does not matter. No matter what, I come here and tell you the truth of the transformation that Russia is going through. So thank you, friends. Now, I have a few pieces of information from Vayenkory. This is from a Telegram channel called Белорусский силовик. Now, it's a little different. It just explains the situation in the front lines and then the stand of Russia. The target of the Russian offensive in Sumy region is Kiev, said the Ukrainian Senator Bezuglia, quoting, "We didn't notice the new offensive of the Russians in Sumy region is not attack on Sumy, the regional center city. This is an offensive against Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, physically, ideologically. Pay attention to the routes and distances," the senator writes. And then the Vayenkory Белорусский силовик comes back with, "I don't want to believe it, but for now, this is absolute nonsense," what the Ukrainian senator said. "There is no human resource to take Kharkov, then to go through the entire Sumy region and reach Kiev. In any case, the suffering has an end destination. Let's see." So the key moment here is Vayenkory says how it is. It says, Russian army, Russia does not have enough manpower, the soldiers, human resources to go and take first Kharkov, then Sumy, then go to Kiev. Okay, they can't even move much from where they are now, and and then she's talking about Kiev. And here I absolutely agree with Vayenkory Белорусский силовик. No resources. Now, let's take a look at the next piece of information. That's funny. This is from Vayenkory Donetskaya пехота, Donetsk infantry. Volunteers are starting to manufacture anti-tank mine shells for remote mining of Ukrainian territory. They will sow what is reasonable, good, and internal. And they're being sarcastic, and sarcasm is really bad here, At this rate, the National Military-Industrial Complex will reach the national hazel grove. Of course, if the Ministry of Defense and Rostech had supplied the troops with everything they needed in sufficient quantities, volunteering and cooking would not have been needed. But our petty bourgeois authorities have plundered the country's defense capability. So there is now nowhere without the National Military-Industrial Complex now. And this is really a bold and a true statement. Basically, Vayenkory admits that people, whoever they are, volunteers, I can't even imagine anyone volunteering, going to the front lines and assembling mines to mine the land of Ukraine. So people in Ukraine, the Ukrainians would just die of the mines. Okay, that's nice volunteering, right? But that's not the point of the message. The point is that it's volunteers. They're somehow trying to create mines. Russian military-industrial complex doesn't supply much, doesn't produce much, and this fella, not, me, I talk about it a lot in the live streams, but this fella says, hey, if they supplied everything that is needed, the volunteers wouldn't been, trying to assemble these mines. They steal everything, and the Vine Courier is absolutely right. They steal everything. That's right. The next message is from Vainkur no Pasaran, and it's a pretty funny one. I am sitting and reading a machine gun manual before going to bed, and I come to the words, machine guns are stored separately from machine gun tools installations in a standard box, complete, and I start laughing wildly. It is clear as fudge. They are stored separately. Because we have machine guns, but the Ministry of Defense doesn't have any machine gun installations. Everything was stolen and sold for scrap metal before the war. And it's really hard to disagree with this message. I absolutely agree with it. Everything that could be stolen was stolen before the war. Okay, I have 10 pieces of information, 10 messages from Vaincore for you. Like I said, I will see the feedback, the reaction, and I am asking you to give me feedback. Let me know in the comments whether you liked this kind of information, and I shall continue or not. Now, before I switch the live stream chat on, one thing that I want everyone to understand, why are Vaincore so bold? Because they even suggest that there's something wrong with the Tsar himself, Does he even understand what's going on? How can you say that? Are you suggesting the commander-in-chief doesn't understand what's going on? Whoa, wait a second. And then, of course, he doesn't say Putin. He doesn't say the commander-in-chief. He says the wise politician. That's speaking between the lines, reading between the lines. That's what I used to do when I was in Russia a lot. Why they're so brave? Why no one is going after them? I see there are two explanations. First of all, none of these Vaincore are independent, truly independent. I mean, imagine a guy with a computer, with a camera, getting up and going to the front lines. And then he shows up and says, well, hello, my name is Vaincore Ivan Petrov. What's going to happen to him? At best, he probably would be sent back where he came from. At the worst, thrown into the front lines. Now, how is that the Vaincore are operating freely in the front lines? Because someone is behind them. And I cannot say that they all belong to one group. Let's say they all work for RT. No, they work for different groups. Remember, I keep telling them there are different power clans, power groups in Russia who are in constant war with each other. Well, the Vaincore are their voices at the front lines. Vaincore are allowed to say more than the others because they know there's someone behind them. Sometimes they get in trouble, sometimes they get killed, yes. Sometimes they, commit suicide, It's happened a few times. When the Vaincore went too far, something bad happens to them. But most of the times, they write something outrageous, like, this isn't a just war, something like that. And then they delete the comment in a few hours after they write it, because they get a telephone call saying, are you nuts? Are you drunk? Are you high? Whatever. And then they retract. So anyway, that's who they are. They are agents of influence of different power groups. And the bigger and stronger the power group or a power person behind Vayncourt, the more braver, more bolder Vayncourt becomes. Okay, and the second explanation, and they're not mutually exclusive, okay? They kind of go along with each other. Vayncourt are a part of propaganda, and they supply valuable information to propaganda, and that's why they're tolerated by, by the KGB and by the authorities. So two reasons they are who they are, and they say what they say. Someone powerful behind them, protecting them, and they supply valuable information to Russian propaganda. Again, please, if you want to hear more from Vayncourt once every couple of weeks, please let me know down below in the comments. Thank you so very much. And before I jump to turn the live stream chat on, and please, please, please shoot your questions at me. I will try to answer as many as I want to. And first of all, you know what? Even before you leave the comments, let me know in the live stream chat whether you liked what you heard today. Did you find it interesting? Or, yeah, let's do something else. Before I turn the live stream chat on, I'd like to remind you of Formula 54 and daily snippets. I find that keeping up with what's going on in Russia is very important for anyone who wants to be in the know. And for that, I created Formula 54, 9 news that I carefully select every single day. I make available to patrons of Inside Russia. News that I find important and you probably won't find in any mainstream media. And also, more than a news, less the live stream, a spontaneous, unrehearsed video that I just sit in front of a camera and record. I call it a daily snippet. I pick one topic that I find important at any given day, and I create a daily snippet. I talk about it. So if you want to keep up with everything Russia, consider becoming patron. I'm going to put the link down below in the pinned comment, and there's one in the description. Thank you so very much. And now, let's jump into the live stream chat. Thank you so much. Here you go. Yesterday said that I had a comment yesterday's live stream about propaganda, and someone asked me if I was it was my AI clone because it looked different. It was perhaps there was a different lighting. Okay, friends, let me open the live stream chat on my computer first of all. And while I'm doing that, I'd like to remind everyone that Inside Russia is the best community online, and it has the best moderation team. Lorna, Mami K, Bob S, Harry Potman, Amir Fazat. Thank you, friends, for coming. Thank you for watching my back day after day for years now. I am very grateful for you and for the community that you have helped to create. And the usual suspects inside the insiders, Russian insiders. Thank you for coming. Thank you for, thank you for keeping coming back. Did I say that right? Keeping coming back. Thank you for, well, anyway, thank you for coming back every day. The usual suspects and the pillars of Inside Russia. Couple rules: be nice to each other, no insults, and no discussion of US politics, the personalities. Not here, not at Inside Russia. We discuss Russia, Vayncourt, and the general situation in the country. And if you want me to see your comment or question easier, please, and faster, please put it in all caps and put Inside Russia after @ so that way I see it easier. It's highlighted in orange. Thank you so much. If I missed your question or comment, keep on commenting, keep on posting, because it's not that I don't ignore anyone, it's just I somehow missed. Okay, dokie. So I'm almost there. Almost. Just give me a second. Terry, the mods, Lorna, howdy, Harry, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better. Bob, thanks for the message. I hope you saw my response. It's a lot of food for thought you gave me today. Leitmotiv, howdy. Roy Cousins, Stefan, Baker Stork, Pinda the Peanut. Missed the message. Hey, you never miss the message. You watch it afterwards. Andrew Hodson from South Africa. Lilith Eden, howdy. Scott Nesbitt, fantastic to see you. Michael Silberg. Satsuki, good evening. Vasil Terente from the European Union, I take it. Tracy Stones. Paul Wright. Chris Fox, howdy again. Kerma Willen, howdy. Terry, I love the way you presented the stuff. Keep it coming. Okay, thank you. First comment. Thank you so much. This is new for me, so it's been a little hectic in terms of presentation, but I hope you get the idea. I have access to pretty much all Vancouver, and I watch them once in a while. Well, regularly, but not all of them. So once in a while, each of them. I find their message is important. Like I said, it kind of gives me the mood of where things are. And then when people saying, "Oh, fantastic advancements of Russian army is so strong," that official propaganda, and then I hear it from the West, and then the Vaincore shows the picture. He films soldiers begging for food or for ammo. I'm thinking, well, I kind of don't believe that Russian army is strong and doing mighty fantastic, So anyway, Jodes Rames, howdy. G Coffee 613, John McLean, Angela McNaught, Mila, thank you. Was the tone of Z changed after the attacks? There were critics before as well. The tone was, after that, there was nothing before the attacks. After, they just, basically their message was, we are furious. Someone's gonna pay for that. And they didn't mean like Ukrainians, but, well, some said that, we gotta get to Ukrainians. But most said, okay, someone in the Russian army is gonna pay for that. And once again, the enemy has showed our weakness. The enemy has humiliated us, and that's what the message was. Jodes, I like this information about the Z people. Thank you so much. Perhaps I should cater you different information from Z Patriots, but on certain topics. Well, I tried that talk to kind of give you the taste of what was going on. Because again, the attack happened. Silence in the media space. Silence on the TV. Silence in the internet. And all of a sudden, Ministry of Defense says, yes, there was an attack. Oh, them Ukrainians, we'll show them. Yeah, they attacked us. They attacked 4 airfields. And then Putin is silent. Everyone is silent. And all of a sudden, we hear Vaincourts just going ballistic on every corner. And that was quite a difference between the official propaganda. Pinda are Vaincore some sort of militia? No, they are war correspondents. They are independent bloggers. If I would go to the front lines in Russia and I would start filming and showing in my Telegram channel and do live streams and on YouTube everywhere, I would be Vinecore. Okay, that's who they are. Larry Barth from Canada, howdy, good to see you. Real Larry Barth. Harry Tekelenberg. Thank you. Have learned more in London school? Well, thank you, Harry. I am trying to provide so much information that you really know what's going on. You know the truth. Friends, I feel like the world is spinning around my head. You know, there is so much disinformation right now. There's so many lies. And not just in Russia. I watch the Western media, and I'm appalled. Like, I was watching a piece of a Western American media done by a pretty famous, I guess, big YouTuber, political commentator. And he delivered a speech on what's happening in California, and then he invited the district attorney and interviewed him. And you know what? I liked district attorney very much. He was a great guy, very professional, answered questions in a very professional manner, in the know of what's going on, in complete control of the situation. But the guy who was interviewing him, and his first part when he was talking about the riots, my gosh, I saw the blueprints of propaganda all over. I told you, I did the live stream yesterday, giving you 8 methods of how Russian propaganda works. That guy used 4 of them. And that was just scratching the surface, okay? I could see it. So as I study Russian propaganda, I am becoming more and more aware of the propaganda that's going on everywhere in the world. And that is so sad. And that's why I feel that what I do is valuable, because there's no propaganda here, okay? I give you, first of all, the facts, okay, what happens in Russia. And then I give you my analysis and my takes. And I clearly tell you what I think. So there is no agenda. I'm not paid by anyone. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm not blackmailed, forced to say by anyone, you know. Everything I say comes from my heart, basically. That's what it is. Pamela, good to see you. I like it is also typed on the screen while, and then pronounce that word effing. Okay. Ian Robinson, John Shepard. I think the Russians think James Bond is real. Carlos, thank you so much. Please keep sharing war correspondence. Are some of them foreigners? There was a foreigner, Alex Bentley. He was, I think he was sincere. He believed in Russia. He had faith in Russians, and he thought that Russia is on the right side. Okay. It's one thing when person sells his soul for money, and he knows what's going on, and then he disinforms anyway. He lies. I think Alex Bentley he sincerely believed that what Russia was doing was true. He had Russian wife. He was in Donetsk, and 3 drunken soldiers ran into him, and he had lived in Russia for like decades. So they ran into him. They looked that there was American, and they beat him to death. Yeah, because he was American. They thought he somehow infiltrated the front line, and he was a spy coming from America, you know. So that was one guy that I know. He was a Vinecore. He was working at the front lines. And perhaps there are a couple. There is one with a foreign name, Alex Parker Returns, but that's a Russian guy. Sam the Legend K. If the precious ring was returned to Vladimir, would it release the spell? Don't you think he has the ring? He has had it for 25 years. And Putin seemed to be okay in first couple years, okay? But then he started changing. Holy moly. Aaronka, Brian Woods, howdy friends. Please keep sharing text from war correspondence. Again, please forgive me for this a little hectic presentation today. I will think of a way how to present it more, so it, I guess, packs more information. Rudy, do you see any changes in China-Russia relations recently? Interesting question, Rudy. Thank you. There has been so much action going on between the USA and China, and I'm sorry, I gotta take a pause and have a sip of the tea. It was probably the most intense work I have ever done in my life, to sit in front of the camera and speak from top of my head, to keep numbers, figures, situations, opinions in my head, and then present them to you for hours sometimes in my second language. Okay, so sometimes my brain kind of like heats up. Do you see any changes in China-Russia relationship? There's been so much action between Russia and the USA that this topic, Russia-China relations, is kind of like was pushed aside. Xi Jinping came to Moscow on May 9th. Obviously, he had talks with Vladimir Putin, a couple of them. Not much is known what they discussed. I think China has been quiet because it's using its usual strategy. It's going to sit still and wait out and see what happens. And I think that's what it's doing right now. It's seeing how the negotiations with the USA turn out. And then we are seeing the result right now. Yesterday was, by the way, Donald Trump gave Russia 2 weeks. And at the end of 2 weeks, he said he would take serious actions. Well, still waiting for the actions. The 2 weeks were up yesterday. Perhaps today there will be another 2 weeks. We'll see. But anyway, so not much. It's been out of Russian propaganda, not found in Russian media, and there hasn't been much happening. Chris Fox, you do that and let us know how it goes. Olive Brandt, how could Russia be forced to end? If you mean to end the war, Russia, and I'm jumping ahead of, running ahead of the train a little bit for you. I'm giving you a preview of what I'm going to discuss. Russia is nearing a very serious moment in the war. Okay, Putin is obviously has informed the entire world that he's victorious. Russia has won. Now Russia is surrounded by the enemies. Russia offered peace to Ukraine twice in recent couple weeks. Ukraine denied, slapped Russia on the wrist. That's how they selling this in Russia, okay? So Putin is the peacemaker. But he is not appreciated. The Ukrainians don't want peace. So Russia, continues to do what it's been doing. That's the official position of Russian state, Russian politicians, and Russian propaganda. In reality, Russia is not victorious. Russia is not doing well in the front lines at all. And Vaenkory is actually one of the reasons I think so, because they give glimpses of truth sometimes. Vladimir Putin is nearing a moment, a milestone, a crossroad, I call it. Sometimes, either at the end of summer or early fall, there will be situation in the front line when he will completely run out of people. And then, obviously, to continue the war, you need people. Then he will either be forced to somehow stop the war, temporarily or permanently, which I don't believe will happen, or he will have to mobilize more men, more people, which I believe is more probable. We'll see what happens. But when the new mobilization starts, the hell will break loose, okay? Because mobilization is a big deal. Men are taken from their lives and thrown to die. They don't have any more people who sign contracts. They've started decreasing the amounts of money that the person gets when he signs a military contract. And if Putin announces or simply does new mobilization covertly, I don't think he will announce that this time much. Mark my words, all hell will break loose, and the Russian economy is going to be suffering more and more, and basically economy will be falling apart. And a piece of pie for Russian oligarchs and all the power clans, power groups will be shrinking. And the fight will be intensifying for the pie, for the money, for the federal budget. And that's going to lead into a complete total war, all-out war for Russian elites. And that is a very, very dangerous moment for Putin, because a few groups can get together and decide that they don't need him anymore. So I think that's how it's going to end. Just Terry, did you do all the translations? Yes, Terry, I did the translations. I made a couple mistakes there too, by the way. I don't know if you got them or missed. Michael Silberg, it's been suggested that groups connected to Russia are funding the purchase of supplies for protesters in the US. How much do you think this could be happening? It's really easy to track. I mean, come on. I saw the district attorney in Los Angeles, something like a central area, whatever. Anyway, he's controlling the situation. He was answering questions in a very professional manner. He said, look, there aren't too many people who are protesting. We know there are like islands of protests. Not islands, but those areas of protest. We know who the protesters are, not the peaceful ones, but the rioting ones, the burned cars. We have identified many. We have already arrested a few, like such and such is on the run. And we are going to be looking into how they're financed, who they're connected with. We're going to be taking their phones, looking through their messages, and establishing the links. So if any protesters in the USA are financed by Russia, we're gonna find out very soon. Okay, I don't believe so. It would be a not very elegant job, so to speak. Okay, if Russians wanted to finance the protests, they probably would do it in a different way. So if they are behind, it's going to be really hard to. I don't believe. I think they will find funding, if there is funding, but it's not going to be much. Remember the riots in Los Angeles in 91? In what is this? Riots in Los Angeles 2019, I think. That's where Minneapolis was basically, the downtown was burned down. Remember that? So this is not the first time Los Angeles has this kind of troubles. But anyway, I don't believe that Russians are directly behind the riots. That's my answer. Melnel, thank you so much. Got it. Mods are amazing. Satsuki, I think so too. Thank you. Ian Robinson, what do you think happening to Russia once the fighting stops? Is the economy strong enough to bounce back, and will Putin survive? Putin will not survive in the office. The war stops, he's dead. He is dead. War is his bicycle. Putin needs to push pedals and ride the bicycle. As soon as he stops, bicycle falls, and that's it. So Putin has no choice right now but to keep on fighting. So anyway, the fighting stops, it means automatically Putin is not going to be there. One way or another, out of the office. Is Russian economy strong enough? No, 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 read my lips, no. It's falling apart right now. Russia has lost the bread makers. There are, of course, conditions that can bounce back, but they're like an out of sci-fi movie right now. Russia would have to repent, admit responsibility, would identify the war criminals, send them to Hague, rebuild Ukraine, pay reparations to rebuild. Is it going to happen anytime soon? I don't think so. So I don't think that Russian economy is bouncing back fast enough. Perhaps in 30, 40, 50 years, something like that. Kev Sullivan, howdy. The videos of Russian nuclear bomber air bases look like yards of an American redneck with lots of old cars up on blocks. You know what, Kev, you're spot on. I don't understand why more people have not noticed it. These planes don't have any covers on them. I think they're called hangars, right? I mean, these planes cost hundreds of billions of dollars, and they are open to all them elements. They're all the surveillance. The heck is going on? Well, the money, of course, was allocated over last 20 years to build the structures above the planes. But guess what the money go? If you, I don't remember which state are you from, but if you go to Florida and you drive down to around Miami, and there's a place called Sunny Isles. And if you drive around Sunny Isles, you'll see plenty of fancy condominium buildings, houses, yachts. That's where the money, the hangars, the planes, Armata thing, and that's where they are, right there in Miami, in Sunny Isles. That's a Russian community, mostly of people who stole money from the Russian state and were smart enough, or that's right, smart enough to move them to the United States to transfer. And if you go to Dubai, the Palm, Dubai, you will see plenty of very expensive yachts there. Half of them, not yachts, but houses, villas, about half of them belong to Russians. Officials, authorities, generals, their children, their wives. That's where those money. That's why the Russian airfields look so like you said, the yards of American rednecks. Because they would have looked nice if all the money would be used for the purpose, and I guess thank goodness they weren't. Konstantin, could you watch this Jason J. Smart clip later and comment on another day? Paints bleak future of Russia. Well, I don't know. I haven't watched this, but if he paints a bleak future for Russia, that makes two of us, because I paint very bleak future for Russia, and I'm an economist, and I know Russia quite well. So, Jason J. Smart. Okay, I'll check it out. I don't understand Z people. Google says Z people is a casual term for people belonging to Generation Z. No. Christy, Z people are not Zoomers. They're Vayenkory, war correspondents. They're Z patriots. Z is like, I don't know, the label of Russian war. Okay, that's Z, and then they called Z people because they support the war. They're part of the state. They're part of the war machine. Everyone who supports the war in Russia called Z person. Okay. Zetnik. Are you Zetnik? No, I'm not. That's what I ask people when they come to Tashkent Breakfast Club. Sometimes I try to. But anyway, that's a different story. I'm very sensitive to that. I've only seen one Z person come in to have breakfast with us back in September of 2022, and I kicked him out from the meeting because it's, no Z people here. Anyway, that's who they are. Z people, those who support the war. Time reminder. Thank you, Bob. 2 questions, and that's it. I think in yachts built in the Netherlands. Harry, no. The yachts built in the Netherlands, they're good yachts, and they'll cost hundreds of millions of dollars, but those belong to the oligarchs, to the few. I'm talking about thieves of lower caliber, the ones who steal, $10 million, $20 million. What do you do with them? You transfer them to the Seychelles or Cayman Islands or British Virgin Islands, to an offshore company, Panama. Watch Panama Papers or a movie about it. That's pretty cool. So, and then you launder that money, make them look legit, and move to the United States. Pay taxes in the USA. They all pay taxes, and buy condos, buy big yachts. They don't cost hundreds of millions of dollars. They cost probably like million, 2 million, Sunny Isles full of them. Go and check it out for yourself. Um, Timo, I heard the bombers were not on the cover because part of the strategic nuclear treaty mentioned that strategic bombers would be kept under open sky. Not sure if it was. It was true a long time ago, but Russia quit that treaty. It's not part of the treaty anymore. Any more news about Russian businesses moving to China? I haven't heard much. I heard that the trade with China is declining. I heard that the Chinese are not willing to trade much. They are making obstacles for Russian companies to import their products, Chinese products, into Russia. So the Chinese products leave China with delays. I know Norilsky Nickel, the largest company in nickel production in Russia and one of the largest in the world, is working on moving the production there, at least part of its production. But I haven't heard of anything else. I'll keep my eyes open. And what the fudge? What is this? Friends, what is this? Yes. Vismori. Hide that user. We don't need trolls here. Hide that user. Alright, friends, bots. Bots are attacking us. Kiwi, I'm proud Japanese know what's right. Me too. Thank you. Friends, it's time to finish the live stream, and I would like to invite everyone to pray along with me. There's one little difference today. This is not streamlined. All right. I would like to make a little different prayer today. Friends, please join me in prayer. Dear Lord Jesus Christ, thank you so much for everything you've given us. Thank you for food that you've put on our tables and the roofs you've given over our heads. Thank you for the love that you send us. Thank you for the loved ones you surround us with. Thank you for the families and children. Please give us wisdom to keep the skies above our children's heads peaceful and quiet and sunny and cloudless and safe. Give us wisdom to raise our children so when they grow up, they will not fight in any war. Just be friends to each other and make this world a better place. For now, please keep our children safe and healthy. Dear Lord, I'm asking you to help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. The country has suffered so much. It needs peace, and people, they're very peaceful people, they need peace. Reach out and touch the hearts and souls of those who are responsible and capable of making this decision so they wake up from the lethargic sleep and make the decision to stop the bloodshed. Please help every single Ukrainian who's been affected by this terrible tragedy. Answer the prayers and make their wishes come true. And I am asking for my country, Russia. Dear Lord, please help Russia assemble strongest angels with sharpest swords and have Saint Michael lead your strongest army down to this earth, to Russia, to get rid of the demons who have hijacked my country, who we know by their names and by their faces. Dear Lord, please send them to where they belong, to hell, and have your angels help good Russian people to run their country so they make it peaceful, loving, and respecting. Dear Lord, please help everyone who is traveling. Send them safe travels. Help everyone who are in danger. Send them safety. Help single mothers and fathers who are struggling, trying to make ends meet, trying to make their ends meet, raising their children. Please send relief and help. Help those who are seeking for asylum. Help those who are in trouble of any kind. Help Ukrainians who are under threat of Russian and under Russian attacks right now. And help those who are helping Ukrainians. Dear Lord, please help all those who are sick, hungry, cold, homeless, jobless, going through divorce, crying, feeling heartbroken, losing their faith, feeling that they have been abandoned, feeling that you have abandoned them. Help everyone in need, dear Lord. Reach out and touch their hearts, fill them with love. Show them that you're right next to them. You have not abandoned them. You still love them, and you always will. Give them confidence. Give them sunshine in their lives. Send love their way. Please help everyone in need. Thank you so very much for our community. Thank you for allowing us to come together and pray. Thank you for everyone who's praying with me right now or simply watching us pray. That's also good. Please answer everyone's prayers and make everyone's wish come true. Dear Lord, I have so many people on my list who I ask for help every day. You know these people better than I do. You know who needs help better than I do. You know how to help them. I'm asking for everyone who is on my list. I'm asking for everyone who's in Ukraine, who is in other places and countries that are in trouble, who is hurt, who is suffering. I'm asking for everyone who has just learned about health problems and scared. Please reach out and send everyone recovery, confidence, love, and answer everyone's prayer, make everyone's wish come true. Thank you, dear Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, friends. Thank you for coming again. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for praying with me. You're just awesome in Iraq. There will be Friday tomorrow. It means that it's Friday news update. Quite the live stream that I usually do. So many news. They are closing down Telegram in Russia. There are plans, not just plans, they have announced. They have lowered the bonuses, sign up bonuses for the people, for the men who sign up and go to war. They are running out of money and it's becoming real bad. Russian businesses are in big troubles. All of that and some more, quite a bit more, I will be talking about in the Friday Crazy News Update. So please tune in tomorrow at the usual time. Thank you so much. I will see you tomorrow. Hope to see you tomorrow at least. And before I sign off, I would like to come up and with my usual wish and ask you to finish this live stream with this message with saying out loud what I say, what I ask you to say. And I will explain in more details to those who don't know what it is in the upcoming stream, probably on Monday. But for now, just say it with me as loud as you can. Carthago delenda est.